Proposition 59. Corporations, political spending, federal constitutional protections, legislative advisory question. Plain language: should California push the federal government to limit the amount corporations and unions can spend on political campaigns? What does it do? Prop 59 is essentially a survey. The California Legislature wants to know if Californians would like them to use their power to try and force an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would overturn Citizens United. People, corporations, labor unions, and other groups spend money every election to try and make their case to voters why they should vote the way they want them to vote. Types of political spending include direct contributions. People can give money directly to candidates, political parties, and committees. These direct contributions are subject to federal, state, and local limits. In some cases, federal law does not allow direct contributions at all. For example, corporations and labor unions may not give money directly to a candidate for federal office. Secondly, there are independent expenditures. A person makes an independent expenditure if he or she spends money to influence voters with no coordination with a candidate or campaign. For example, a person producing a radio commercial urging people to vote for a candidate is making an independent expenditure if the commercial is made without the involvement of the candidate's campaign. Our discussion here has to do with the second of these. Before 2010, federal law placed limits on what corporations and labor unions could spend in federal elections. Some California local governments had similar laws for local elections, but this all changed in 2010 when the Supreme Court decided on the now famous Citizens United case that independent expenditures are free speech and therefore no federal, state, or local government can place limits on the independent expenditures of corporations, labor unions, or anyone else. How to change the Constitution. The Constitution can be changed via a two-step process. 1. Congress proposes changes or amendments to the Constitution. 2. At least 38 states approve the amendment before it becomes law. Side note, technically the amendment process can also be started via a constitutional convention, but this has never happened. Long story short, because this is an advisory measure, it doesn't require any action by the U.S. Congress or the California Legislature or guarantee that anything will happen. Prop 59 is simply a poll asking your opinion on whether California's elected officials should work to overturn Citizens United and other related court decisions, allow the government to regulate and limit what individuals and entities can spend on political campaigns, ensure individuals are able to express political views, and make it clear that corporations should not have the same constitutional rights as people. Finally, it's important to remember that Citizens United is federal law, meaning it's nationwide and has been handed down from the Supreme Court. Therefore, California cannot overturn this alone. This is just about whether California should do its part in the big task of influencing the nation concerning this constitutional matter. Fiscal impact. Because this is just a survey, there are no fiscal implications. From Yes on Prop 59. Get money out of politics. Vote yes on Prop 59 to help get big money out of politics and restore a government of, by, and for the people. Corporations aren't people. Corporations play a vital role in our economy, but corporations aren't people. They don't vote, they don't get sick, or die in wars for our country. The Constitution was written to protect human beings, not corporations. The rights granted to corporations by Citizens United allow them to drown out the voices of real people. Prop 59 only affects corporations, not people. Opponents want you to believe that overturning Citizens United will affect your First Amendment rights. Only big money interests who want to control our elections have anything to fear from overturning Citizens United. It stops unlimited spending. Citizens United has allowed corporations and billionaires to spend unprecedented amounts of money to influence each election and make it harder for our voices to be heard. The U.S. Supreme Court was wrong and must be corrected. From No on Prop 59. Prop 59 is a big waste of your time and our taxpayer dollars. It is a non-binding advisory measure that fails to prohibit or limit corporate contributions or union contributions to candidates, elected officials, or political parties. It argues that free speech should not apply to small businesses and others who choose to incorporate as corporations. Do you really want this Congress to tinker with the First Amendment, which guarantees your right to free speech, free press, freedom to peaceably assemble and associate with others, and your right to practice your religion? Many churches are incorporated, as are newspapers, television networks, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Common Cause, the League of Women Voters, and the ACLU. People shouldn't lose their constitutional rights just because they choose to become involved with a company or organization that's incorporated. Supporters of Prop 59 say that people should have the right to set reasonable limits on the raising and spending of money by candidates and others to influence elections. Who decides what those reasonable limits are? This Congress? This legislature? Our ballots should not be clogged with pointless, non-binding measures. This is the first, but if you vote yes, it surely won't be the last. Your no vote sends a clear message to the legislature to stop wasting our money and stop clogging our ballot with meaningless measures. This measure costs taxpayers over $500,000. The legislature should start disclosing political contributions within 24 hours of receipt year-round and fix our roads, our broken educational system, and protect us from crime. So this is interesting. The legislature is taking a poll. It would have been cheaper to do this on Facebook. Anyway, it's non-binding, it's our opinion. My thinking is that there are millionaires on both sides of the aisle, companies on both sides of the aisle, and I tend to side with the U.S. Supreme Court on the idea that spending and ad creation are your First Amendment rights, and I don't see any basis in Congress deciding how much free speech is permissible and from whom. Does freedom of speech stop applying during elections? If a company wants to spend their money creating ads, that's their constitutional right, and the Constitution doesn't say anything about the First Amendment being suspended during election season. I'm going to vote no because I do not think this is constitutional, and I feel like there's a slippery slope happening here on the First Amendment. If we increase the power of the legislature to regulate this part of free speech, what free speech can they come after next? If you vote yes on Prop 59, you are telling the California Legislature that you want it to join the fight to overturn Citizens United. If you vote no, you are telling the legislature to shut up and do something else with their free time. The Daryl Johnson Show says no on Prop 59.